I must increase my bust.
Hey, you're listening to That's Life, the podcast designed with your laughter in mind. So please sit back, relax, and prepare to be entertained.
That's life.
And we're back.
Hello.
That's right. This is episode number 28 of That's Life.
Big 2-8.
Coming to you live and direct from the storm-savaged East Coast. We were storm raped.
I heard about this.
I experienced it. It was sucky for 2 days. There's some people who still don't have fucking power back.
Yeah.
So it sucks for them.
I heard about that too.
Yeah, still. And now we're in the middle of like the worst heat wave ever.
Right. It's about sixth circle sort of temperatures.
Yeah, definitely a sizzling. It was so hot in my garage.
How hot was it?
It was so hot, it was too hot to put in my air conditioner. So we have a fan running. Luckily, we actually worked in the ninth circle of hell. So this is completely bearable. We have moving air, we're fine.
Yeah.
Usually the moving air,
It's like
where we
slightly
worked with steam.
uncomfortable, but nothing.
Yeah, not life-threatening
unbearable.
for us. Yeah, it was old hat. Our bodies are melting, but our minds are free.
But we couldn't care less.
Yeah. At least we're not going to be doing this for 12 hours.
Right.
Pushing 3,000
Pushing
pounds
shit
of
around.
paper. Holla! So, yes, episode 28. It was a hellacious storm. I suppose we should touch on that and what's new, because that's
Yeah.
what's new. We had recorded episode 27. It wasn't last week. It was the week before last we recorded it.
Yep.
And I was
And
tired.
Mother Nature said, "Fuck you."
And I said, we
That's why
recorded
it was
Thursday.
late.
What? It was Thursday we
Yes.
recorded? It was Thursday. And I said, when I come home from work on Friday, because I was working some 12s, I said, I'll mix it down then. Because I actually mixed it, but the last 10 or 15 seconds had these things Tim called digital artifacts, which is fancy terminology for like distortion and shit.
Yeah,
at the
little
end.
clips out here and there.
And I was like, our listeners, it's not like we're a nationwide 10 million listener strong podcast, but but tell a friend.
Right.
But we like our listeners. We want our listeners to have quality product or the best we can possibly manage.
That, and when we get to the 10 million listeners worldwide, they can go back to the archives and not be
It'll
disappointed.
sound pretty much the same, So
Or, it'll get better, but, we'll start at a good starting point.
sort of thing.
Something.
And
know what I
I
mean.
wanted to mix it. Long
Yeah.
story short, I wanted to remix it and then post it again. Because I didn't post it once I discovered it was crappy. And so Friday, I came home from work. I got 20 minutes of air conditioning. And my dinner was sitting on a cookie sheet, ready to go into the oven to heat up real quick. I was going to eat some food, run out there, do the do, and probably play some World of Warcraft. And then, the apocalypse happened. And the power went out. And I was like, oh, boy. The power went out.
Hate it when that happens.
I mean, the wind was fucking. The trees were going rah, rah, back and forth. Woke the kids up, put them in the hallway. Got a comforter there in case like stuff started flying around. It was a little scary in that regard. I mean, if it was just me, I'd be like, what's it gonna do? But
There's trees around here.
yeah, soft targets in the house though. So the storm's done. It's still fucking dark in my house. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go out. And probably going to have to get some ice or something maybe, just in case. I don't know. I'm sure it's not that bad. Let me go see. After storms like that, I like to drive around the neighborhood. If there's like a branch in the road, I'll move it out of the way.
Yeah.
Drive around. Just drive into Millville, see how everything's looking. Usually I'll drive past out my street and I'll say lights on and go, oh, okay, it's not that big a deal. They'll have mine back on, whatever. So I start to turn. I get off my street. And it sort of goes into Caloris, this other street. And I see a tree sort of completely, it looked like in the dark, it was in the dude's living room. And it brought like the power lines with it. And that's when I realized, all right, this storm may have been a little worse than I thought. And I think the power's going to be out for a while. So I'm like, well, maybe it's not that bad. That's one power line. They'll fix it tomorrow. then I'm like, whoa, and I sort of swerve out of the way because another power line's like hanging across the street, and I'm looking back, I'm like, man, I can't believe that. I'm going about 15, 20 miles an hour, bam, and a power line just smacks right into my windshield, and I'm like, I stop the car, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, I've never seen one this close. It's almost touching my car, and I actually take my hands off the steering wheel because I'm like, and I'm using the tip of my toe on the brake like that's going to save me. Like, maybe it'll just fry off my toe.
It would be the same principle as if your car gets struck by lightning.
yeah.
It goes around the outside of the car.
But I was tired.
tires,
It was a long
into the
day. I
ground.
wasn't expecting to run into one. And I didn't know what it was at the time. It turned out to be like a stomach intestinal flu going around. But that was brewing. Another storm was brewing. I don't want to get ahead.
A brown storm.
So,
for all you World of Warcraft fans who've ever played in ICC in the first boss Marigar, brown storm.
Yes. Well, I'll paint my face with your butt. So,
shit spikes. It's just not good. DPS him down. Get me off this thing.
No, just TPS them down. Oh, yes. Okay. The video game dorks who listen to us have just laughed their asses off. So I back up a little bit, and I see in the corner, I'm not electrocuted. I back up a little bit.
Clearly.
And I see, like, I kind of half go up on the curve. I go around. I'm like, wow, I better get fucking ice because this looks serious. So I'm driving around, and Home Depot, they have these huge outdoor sheds. Like, you could park a car in these fucking things. And they're all, like, toys in a child's bathtub. When you let the water out, and they all sort of swirl around.
Yep.
All of them around and on top of, and in this one dude's car. I'm like, oh, damn. Oh, is everyone all right? Yeah, but my car sucks to be you. It's like, I don't know. Just drive around with a shed on your car. I don't know what to tell you. So I kept going, and I'm like, oh, man. Then my gas light comes on because, you see, I was just going to pop out and grab gas the next day. I was tired. It didn't matter. I did know the apocalypse was coming.
Right.
Nobody expects the apocalypse.
Which very much like the Spanish Inquisition.
Yes. And so I go, oh, shit, now I've got to get gas. Now, I brought my bank card with me and my license just in case. So I'm
Good
like,
move.
Got to get some gas.
Sort of.
Got to get some gas. And then all of a sudden I'm like, is that thunder? Oh, no. I've been thunderstruck. So my stomach's going just like ready to die and explode. The immunity are wearing off. And I'm like, no, too much.
Mission abort.
But
RTB. She's returned to bathroom.
Must get gas. Oh, but I have gas. So go to Wawa. I'm like clenching the whole time with fantastic pressure. I could have snapped a steel bar in half with my ass muscles.
Oh, yeah.
So, I didn't mean to turn you on there, Pete. Sorry. So,
That's awful.
I get into the Wawa. Now, this is like right after the storm, so there was still stuff in the Wawa and not long lines.
Yeah.
I'm like, second shift, you're up all night. So I grabbed the little cart they have. It's like a double-decker cart with still has...
stupidest looking
It's the
cart
dumbest...
ever.
It's
basically if you take the kid seat from a real shopping cart,
Yeah.
just make that its own thing.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
It's like if you tried to make an energy-efficient shopping cart, but there's no motor, but they didn't care. It's the Prius of shopping carts.
Yeah, it's sort of a hybrid.
It's like the new skiing shopping cart. So I go and I load up like 8 or 9. No, it's 10 bags of ice into this fucking thing. And I'm in line, and these two dudes, they're like being just doofuses. And I'm cool with that. I mean, there's dorks, but usually dorks are funny. We're a funny people. We're usually well-read.
Right.
We're thinkers. So we have a lot of reference jokes and stuff, like we do here on the show. These were just like dorks that never opened a book. It's a subspecies.
Yeah, they exist mainly on YouTube.
On YouTube, and they make video game references, and that's it. They literally
And most
don't
of those are
read.
usually Call of Duty.
Like, what are all those squiggles on the bottom of the screen during the cutscene? Those are words. What?
No, man, this game is about Egypt.
I gotta read. This is like school. So So I'm like, oh my God. And one of them says, man, what you got all that ice for? Now, at this point, I'm sweating profusely. And my demeanor is that of a coke fiend who's going through withdrawal because all of my attention and focus is on my ass. It's a zen
making sure
moment.
that no anal explosion occurs.
Excuse me. Oh, boy.
Nasal explosion.
Yeah. And,
I heard about this great product a couple of weeks ago, nasal douche.
Nasal, yes. I hear it's pretty good. So, they're like, hey, you go there, eighth floor. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I like to keep cool. And they're like, and they're just talking to me. And I'm starting to get pissed off because it's not like they're done their transaction. They're in the middle of it. Like, they haven't handed the cashier money yet. So the cashier is Epsilon Sub Moral Material. So they're standing there like a broken machine, just error, with their hand out waiting for the money. They're like, dude, you got a ice. It's like, I'm building a fucking snowman. Please put the fucking money, put the money in hand, or I'm going to fucking shit all over you. Get out of the way. Goddamn Hurricane Henry's about to blow through with gale force winds. Please, for the love of Christ, I have not shit myself as an adult. I haven't crossed that last line.
Yeah.
Where I would have to just abandon that final little pride badge I have. You know, all the rest are gone, stripped of me. I have one badge. Hasn't shit his pants yet. And I'd like to hang on to that at least till I've reached the age of my life where that sort of thing is acceptable.
Where there's nurses in their early 20s to clean up after you.
Yeah, I'm 38. 38, not an acceptable age to shit yourself.
Not really.
So they can see I'm like not really
feeling
fucking games. And they pay, and I get my shit, and I'm driving home. And the drive, it's like you're driving along. I couldn't see the fucking lines in the road because they were just
dark with no lights.
Well, they were covered with leaves.
Like
even the major roads, and I'm like, holy shit! And I'm like, oh, there's a tree. Okay, there's another tree. Okay, that's a storefront. Okay, don't want to run into that. Looks like they're having a sale. Everything is complete.
It's all gotta go.
It all has gone. So okay, and there had to have been a tornado touchdown at one point.
That's the rumor I heard, but I didn't see anything to corroborate that.
I mean, it happened so late at night. Like, what was it, 12:31 in the morning?
Oh, it was later than that because here's my side of that same story.
Oh, yeah, Pete's tale. Yeah, and then 2 days went by, and I finally got electricity back.
Yeah,
that's
so
pretty much it.
Now, to keep this geographically in mind, I live a 10-minute drive down the street
with
and around,
traffic lights.
Yeah, with traffic lights, literally down the street and around the corner from Carl. So it's same town, same zip code, same exchange on the phone, same area code, same everything. Like, you know, it's really, I mean, if you were a professional football player, a stone's throw away.
Well,
you know, like, not inconceivable that could happen. So it had to have been, I'd say like 2 a.m, give or take, because I was still up but not playing World of Warcraft. I had already done that. I was watching a video on YouTube. I don't remember what it was, but it was something that was kind of longish.
Something about storms.
Like a review. I don't know what it was. It was something. And this storm was going on, and I was like, oh, cool, this will cool things off. And there's lightning, and I like storms, so it was nice. I had all my lights off, so it was flashy and rain. And
they're neat.
It's like I went up to get a drink, and I noticed, like upstairs to get a drink, and I noticed that the rain was hitting the window horizontally. So I was like, oh, that's crazy. Wind is like pretty nuts out there. So, all right, well, you know, whatever. Go back downstairs, continue watching my movie or my video, and the power flicks. Just that sort of real quick, like when you know a power line has been tapped by a tree branch, and it just blinks and everything just resets essentially.
Yeah, computer shuts off, turns back on.
Yeah, which was annoying, but you know my computer needed a restart.
Compared to 6 days without power, really not that much. That
happened, and then I was like, oh damn, it reset all the routers. I can't get back online till because my parental units keep their routers in their fucking bedroom. So it's not like even in a common area where I could just go reset them. So I'm like, damn. Oh, well. Guess I'll just like, you know, watch one of the 50 gigs of movies I have on my computer, on my TV, in my air conditioning. But okay, I can't get online, no biggie. So I couldn't get online, so I didn't know the extent of the damage until I got back online the next day and noticed everybody's Facebooking from their phone saying this is the last communication I'll have before all of my power in my phone dies. I'm like, oh, well, shit. Something must have happened in the outside world last night.
I should climb out of this basement and see what's going on.
Holy balls.
Well, for someone who didn't know how bad it was, at least you were already in a basement in case like the worst did happen on top of you.
Yeah. It was.
Well, that's not that bad. You were almost mildly inconvenienced.
Yeah, I was annoyed that I didn't get to finish watching a video because the power damn flicked on and off. Because everybody's like, oh, man, I've been without power for so many hours, or I still don't have power.
There's still
blah,
people
blah,
without
blah.
power. I can't believe that.
And
I mean, I can, but
everybody's like, oh, how is it where you were at? Like, how long did you lose power? I was like, 0.5 seconds.
yeah, it was. Oof.
What do you mean? I mean, it fucking flicked, and I was annoyed that I lost the internet for like 2 hours.
But for an Android, that was an eternity.
There was stuff that needed to happen. So yeah, it's my block was fine.
It was pretty rough. A lot of places, and the shit seemingly came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it blew through. If we have any fans from Ohio through Virginia through over here, I mean, it just kind of. They called it. I forget the stupid name they had for it, but it's a land hurricane.
Chancho or some bullshit.
Yeah, beans and nachos or something.
I don't know, some shit like that.
But yeah, it's like a land hurricane, which apparently has happened often enough that they had a name for it.
They actually had. They would have had to look it up on the internet, but they couldn't.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was intense. The weird thing was, I heard like rumbling outside before the storm proper began. I'm like, is that the train? What the hell?
Well, that's the thing. It's like it didn't even sound that bad to me either. Because when I went initially and looked out the front like window face of my house, I didn't even see any rain because I didn't realize it was going horizontally. And with the screen, it all does. It was just like, man, it's windy out there.
Yeah. And then I put on the Weather Channel because I was like, I want to do this online. I want to do that. I do like some Facebooking, some shit, some blogging, this, that, and the other. And then, at the bottom, it's like, warning, hurricane force winds, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, testicle-sized hailstones. I'm like, oh, gee, that sounds, it's an odd sort of measurement for hailstones. They were probably in a rush. Shit, grab their crotch. Testicle-sized hailstones.
Sounds about right. Good job, Bernie.
Yes, and Bernie the Weatherman. And Bernie Weatherman, yes.
Perfect.
With hail-sized testicles. Yes.
Of hail-sized proportions or something. That was funnier before my brain fucked it up.
Oh my, that was awkward. So,
you got a lot of ice.
So yeah, that sucked. That's what was new when we recovered from that. I had to reassemble my house.
That's why episode 27 was a little late.
Yeah, once I got power back on, I had to like put all the gutters back on my house, remove trees from my yard, all that bullshit. But really, honestly, the way other people they got a shellacking, man. They got just
parts of
trapped in your neighborhoods for fucking days.
Fucking power. Like a lot of people, it was who's it? A lot of people from like Salem County. Was just straight up evacuated. They were like, fuck this, we're out. We're going to North Jersey where our relatives are.
Can't say I blame him.
Yeah,
that's what Tim did. When Tim comes back, we'll ask him. He actually didn't have power for so long that his mom and her husband, they owned the fireplace shanty.
Right.
Amazing. They went, because that had power, so they went there. So they were like living for a while in these... they have like little living rooms set up with fireplaces.
Oh wow!
So they went to this is the weird sounding part. They went to the fireplace shanty to cool off.
To cool off, yeah.
That's how how hot was it? It's so hot.
So hot we started burning wood to cool the fuck down.
But that exposed. I'm a little bit of like a pseudo survivalist kind of person. Lots of ammo, likes to be ready, lots of plans.
Has a zombie plan. Yeah.
Yes, and. I found two gaping holes in my plan. One, I hadn't planned. I'm going to get a generator,
right?
But because they're fucking expensive,
yeah.
It was like a longer range plan. I wanted to pay down my credit card, almost done for some bills and shit, and then I would say take that money, start saving it aside. Once I have enough, boom, get the generator. And I say, if it's like a shit hits the fan scenario. One of those coronal mass ejections or something like serious long term, I got all the ammo I need. I can just go get one. Carl uses air quotes.
Yes.
At that point,
You can't see them, but there's air quotes there.
I'll leave you a box full of food. Here, it's a trade. And so I hadn't planned on a shit hits the fan scenario that only lasts a few days.
Yeah.
Like a mini Katrina. Totally not. The other hole in my theory, in my planning, which seems gaping in the size of the Grand Canyon, was I had always planned on it being either winter or just temperate weather.
Right. You didn't plan for extreme
heat wave, which sounds crazy. But that means I didn't have any, because I got all this, if it's a snowstorm and we're down for a week, I'm fine. I got kerosene heaters.
Yep. Plenty of blankets,
all
and
kinds
stuff,
of shit. Yeah, it's no problem. Hell, I can cook food outside, whatever. Not that big a fucking deal. A friend of mine, Ross, has an extra fireplace I can grab. Got a hole all set up in there for the pipe over in the corner.
Oh,
this
nice.
can just be like a little place where we chill out for a while we burn stuff.
Well,
and
warm
just use
up.
the house for cold storage.
Yeah.
But I hadn't planned on being in the middle of Sahara, in the middle of this, living in fucking New Jersey like I do.
Yeah.
So it was nice to know those two holes before it was a sustained period of power outage.
Before it was an actual emergency.
Yeah, so generator moved pretty high up on the ladder to get, but I'm going to wait until the power is completely fixed.
Yeah.
And then I'll buy it because there was some definite storm profiteering going on. Tim was looking for a hotel room at first, fat chance. And one of them, I think the Wingate, upped their prices.
I don't doubt it. That probably because they could. Here's a really messed up thing about this story. My little brother and his wife and child came up here for vacation last week. This past week.
They got bad luck.
They got here on Saturday afternoon, and they were staying at the Fairfield over behind the Lowe's. Over there. And when they got there was power but no internet. So none of the computers were working, and for whatever reason, their check-in system runs on some kind of network. So they were like checking people in by hand with paper and pens and big lists and shit, and he was saying that my little brother was saying they asked him for his ID when he checked in, and he's like, he didn't have it out, and he's like, why would I need that? Oh, right, you have no computers, you have no idea who I am, right? So. That was funny. And he must have asked the poor receptionist lady, who had to have been about 105, every time he walked by, because I went back with him to help him get some stuff because since nobody had fucking power, Sunday afternoon, he and his family peoples were just chilling at my house for a while. And longer than they had anticipated because they figured they'd go off and see other people, but everybody else they wanted to see, they couldn't get a hold of. No power. So I went back to the hotel with him, and he kind of walked by and looked at her and was like, hey, and he was like, question. And she goes, before he could even ask the question, oh no, our internet's not back up yet, dearie. It's really funny.
She just put a sign up.
And there was people just chilling in the lobby just because it was so damn hot.
Yeah, you never really appreciate air conditioning. Now, for me, a corrugator, I'm like, oh, this is actually cool compared to work.
Yeah.
So it's still a step in the right direction, but it's only like 1 or 2 steps in the right direction.
But that's the other thing, though, even being a corrugator, it's like you sweat your nuts off in the heat all day at work. It's nice to come home and not have to continue to sweat your nuts off.
Well, so a little funny sub-story to that. So I'm up all night. I fall asleep on the couch with, like, the window open.
Like you do.
Like at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm still no power. This is kind of probably going to be a while. So I sleep there. A little tiny breeze blows in. That's a nice chilling 90 degrees. And I'm like, oh, thank God for that. So my wife wakes me up when she gets up. I'm like, no power. And I tell her about the shit I saw. I'm like, there's not going to be power for a while. I got like fucking 12 coolers. They're all in the kitchen filled with ice. We're good. The refrigerator's still cold. Freezer's still cold at this point. I lost so much groceries. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I barbecued the hell out of everything I could. I'm like, just eat. We're carnivores. We're timber wolves right now. We're eating nothing but fucking meat. So, but even so, I didn't really get a chance to eat it all, and a lot of it had to go. But so I go into my room to go to sleep because I'm tired. I'm like, nah. because I've been up, I've been working overtime, I'm tired, stomach is ravaged. So I lay down in the bedroom and pass out. And I have these dreams that I'm thirsty as hell in my dream. I'm like, God, I'm so thirsty. But I can't slake this thirst. And in my dream, I had a garden hose. I'm pouring it down my throat to the point where I'm like, I have to be drowning inside, but I'm still thirsty. And in my dream time, I don't know how long it lasted in the real world, but I ended up getting up at noon, just drenched. Every fluid I had. I woke up like, the mummy when he first woke up? Yeah, that was me. I wake up, I'm like, ah. So I grab my glass of hot lemonade. I just gulp it because I'm like, oh, that works much better than the garden hose in my dream. And I go out to my house, which is now just baking. It's an inferno. Brick house, so.
Oh, yeah.
And I see a note. My wife left me. Went to Trisha's, which is my sister-in-law. They still have power and air conditioning. Call me when you wake up. Call you on what? My cell phone battery's dead. None of that. What am I going to call you on my CB? So,
I guess the phone lines must have went out too.
Oh, yeah.
They have their own power.
So I get all my shit together. Yeah, dude, my phone line was in my neighbor's fucking front yard. So I get in the car and I go over there. Yeah, they're all sleeping on the couch in the air conditioning. I'm like, you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers.
Wow.
I lost 13 pounds. God damn, it's like a sweat tent in that fucking bedroom. So that was my funny little sub story within the our What's New was like a whole segment.
Yeah. Well,
That was really something serious. That was new. So Pete, do you have anything from the internet aside from storm related?
not really, because everybody lost power and
It's all storm related shit and
Yeah.
Tom Cruise and Kate Hudson breaking up like that. Like any
Katie
fucking
Holmes.
buddy, except for he probably got permission from John Travolta.
no.
No, he
talked
didn't.
about that.
Shit, he's in
Never
trouble.
mind. I was about to say, no, I heard a funny story, but that was our funny story. It had happened last week.
Yes,
So never mind and see last week's episode.
which
About the Pope.
which I decided our last episode. Every episode has its own flow. Some of them start off from the gate really funny. And they have like a little lull, but then they go up. Some of them are just riotously, ridiculously funny. This one started off kind of like an avalanche. It's a few smaller jokes here and there, and then boulders of funny. Then it was just a landslide where we were laughing so hard that we couldn't even fucking talk by the end. It was ridiculous.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of
good.
fun.
Ski lodges were leveled,
Yes.
as it were.
Oh, that fan is so good. But all right, then we'll skip right ahead to our little weird news
Maybe
segment.
I should readjust because that fan is just not quite reaching.
Well, while you do that, I'll start reading our first news thing.
All right, cool.
This one is called Good Night, Sleep Tight, Don't Let the Bed Bugs Burn Down the House. In Carlisle, Kentucky, fire officials say a central Kentucky woman doused her couch in alcohol in an attempt to kill bed bugs, but dropped a lit cigarette on the furniture and started a fire.
Well, that's one way to do it.
So 30 people in a Carlisle apartment complex lost their homes in the Friday night blaze started by that. Firefighters disappeared into the smoke as they climbed the ladder to make sure everyone was out of the building. It took hours to get a handle on the out-of-control fire. Everybody did make it out of the burning building, but were treated for smoke inhalation.
Right.
This is worded amusingly, considering what she did. Complex resident. I would say simpleton resident. Jackie Bond told the station that she lost everything, but as long as everyone's alive, I'll find a way. Oh, and the bed bugs were dead.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Man, that's talk about bazooka for a mosquito. Holy shit!
Yeah, a structure fire for a bed bug.
It's effective.
But as hard as those suckers are to get rid of, though, you honestly have to throw everything out you own, including the rugs, if you have an infestation. They're fucking awful.
Yeah, as they get all up into everywhere.
Speaking of getting up all into everywhere, this next one's
I know a
called
girl like that
A
once.
Vagina Full of Fun.
Knew plenty of girls like that.
Oh,
once.
and some of these are from Chuck Shepard's News of the Weird at newsoftheweird.com. Just thought I'd throw. The rest are from Smoking Gun. And a lot of these, when appropriate, I went to the actual news site to look them up. The actual newspaper's news site. Just, not to step on any internet toesies. And plus, it was fun for me to make sure that the stories were legitimate, too.
Right.
I don't want to spread any gossip on our news program.
Yeah, our very serious
If the Daily Show can be thought of as a news program, then this can, too, for crying
All right, fair
out
enough.
loud. Yes, a vagina full of fun. Andrea Amantides was being booked in May to begin a 6-month jail sentence in Albany, New York.
I already see where this is going.
For a probation violation. As she was being placed in a holding cell, a cache of drugs fell onto the floor. Deputies soon figured out that a condom she had placed into a bodily orifice had burst. So, the final inventory, 26 OxyContins, 10 Ambiens, 50 Valiums, 37 Adderalls, plus 133 more prescription pills and 4 baggies containing heroin. That's like a partridge in a pear tree.
Holy shit. It's one big-ass condom.
The sequence was captured on surveillance video. That's from the Times-Union in Albany.
Wow.
If you can find that on the interwebs, it would make for interesting watching. Like I said, that vagina, she brought the party in her body right there. So that's it. This next one's called "I'd Like a Hot Dog with Everything." A man high on
that would have been in the vagina previous.
A man high on synthetic marijuana killed and ate a 30 to 40 pound dog, according to police. Michael
Synthetic?
Daniel.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's apparently the synthetic marijuana. Well, because it's synthetic, i.e., not growing naturally, so you know what you're getting, so you can smoke it and never overdose. I guess people tinkered with Mother Nature a little too much. Michael Daniel from the very normal town, nothing bad happened here, Waco, Texas, was, which I think we could call Waco, Texas. Like, you know what we need around here, Waco, Texas? A dangerous drug that makes people eat 30 to 40 pound dogs.
People almost forgot about it.
Ever since San Branch Davidians was charged on Monday for an incident earlier this month in which he allegedly got down on his hands and knees and chased a neighbor while barking and growling like a dog. Daniel then took
it's just DMX. It's so just give him a microphone, he'll be fine.
Daniel then took a black dog onto a house's front porch, beat and strangled the canine, and then began to bite into the dog, ripping pieces of flesh away. Waco Police Sergeant Patrick Swanton told KWTZ. Daniel allegedly told neighbors he was high on synthetic marijuana, sometimes called K2. When officers arrived, Daniel had blood and fur around his mouth. Daniel is charged with cruelty to a non-livestock animal.
Yeah. That gives a whole new meaning to K2 fatties. But that's old school skater shit right there.
I guess bath salts, kind of dangerous. Synthetic marijuana, not as dangerous as bath salts because you'll not eat someone's face off. Yeah, if you're a dog, then
stay away from those crazy crackers in Waco.
Next one's called Carpooling from Hell. The Houston man, James John O'Nock.
Yes, the Houston man.
49. The Houston man. Actually, a Houston man. The one man in Houston. It's like a million women in one man. So he's got a lot of work on it.
Sounds all right.
Was charged in connection with a collision earlier this morning. The morning that this happened.
Look out, it's the Houston man. Oh, no.
Carl should adjust these stories a little when he lifts them from the newspaper. That resulted in the death of a 32-year-old man
who was his arch nemesis.
Who had
Austin Man.
Austin Man. Dun, dun, dun. They were battling in the palindrome. Had exited his Ford Explorer after it broke down on a freeway. The victim was struck by O'Nock's Mazda around 12:30 a.m. as he sought to cross the roadway. O'Nock, police reported, didn't stop driving, despite the fact that the victim went through the front windshield and came to a rest in the front passenger seat of the Mazda.
Holy shit.
O'Nock, pictured in an above mugshot that I should have edited that line, was later stopped by a cop who noticed that the vehicle had
feet sticking out of
extensive front end damage. Did he? And I guess the passenger had extensive front end damage too.
Yeah, for real.
And that there was a dead guy riding shotgun.
Holy shit,
the driver
balls.
advised the deputy that he'd hit something on the freeway, but was not aware the victim was lying in the passenger seat, according to a Houston Police Department press release. Onock was believed to be under the influence, and a mandatory blood draw was taken.
You think?
Onock was charged with felony accident involving injury, though the investigation is continuing, and additional charges will probably be forthcoming.
Here's a question.
Was the guy buckled up? I don't know. No.
That's but does that count as a hit and run? Because technically the victim is still at the scene.
Good point.
I mean, it's like, yeah, he hit him and kept on going, but all the evidence is right there.
It was all right there in the seat next to him. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to figure out a way to throw every law they can at this
probably.
guy.
Holy shit.
This next one's called...
Thought it was a deer, officer.
Also, kind of funny, involving cars. The best ride and also the worst ride ever.
Knew a couple girls like that once, too.
July, haven't we all? July 8th, a teenage couple having sex as they sped along a New Jersey road.
That would be in Jersey.
Were seriously injured Monday night when their car crashed into a utility pole, according to the below police accident report. Cops arrived at the Vineland accident scene, New Jersey. That's right next door.
That's the next town over.
They found driver Carl Nunez, 18, naked from the waist down, and noticed passenger Nicole Dougherty's underwear on the passenger seat. Investigators also discovered an open bottle of Corona beer and the broken remains of a second bottle in the crumpled Mitsubishi Mirage. Was it really the Mitsubishi, or was it just a Mirage?
Yeah, I drove one of those. It's a Mirage of a car.
According to the accident report, witness Neri Velez, wow, he witnessed this, told cops that he was driving behind the speeding Mitsubishi and saw a white female who appeared to be naked climb on top of the driver and move as if they were having sex.
Well, good job there, detective.
Yeah, the vehicle then veered off the roadway, he reported, first striking a mailbox and then slamming into a telephone pole. Neither Nunez or Dougherty were wearing a seatbelt, according to the investigators.
Yeah, you know how hard it is to get your monkey on with a seatbelt in the way?
Nunez was cited for driving... Well, I almost said for driving without intercourse. I was like, wait a minute. That's totally false. He was driving.
He was driving while that was going on.
Driving without insurance, though additional charges could result from an ongoing police investigation. Hey, who hasn't fucked somebody while driving a car?
Clearly he didn't move his seat back far enough.
Thank you. That's what you do. And you do it at night on a pseudo-safe road, and you're just let the car sort of cruise at 20 miles an hour, and you keep a firm grip on the wheel. And I did it in a 78 Ford Bronco.
Oh,
so I had all the fucking room in the world, dude. I mean, you can almost not have sex with... You almost can't not have sex with somebody in a fucking 78 Ford Bronco.
It's true.
This next one's called, Come On, Man. You couldn't have just left him alone? While on patrol early Sunday morning at a mall in Orangeburg, South Carolina, a cop noticed a parked Chevy conversion van a-rocking. When Corporal William Murphy shined a light through the vehicle's back window, he spotted Shanna Bird, 30, and Ronald Braxton, 32, in a certain type of position. Specifically,
Murphy. What's got there, Murph?
Mrs. Bird's head was at Mr. Braxton's groin area, and Mr. Braxton's head was at Mrs. Bird's groin area.
I don't get it. What are they doing?
So, when the naked couple did not respond after being bathed in 15 seconds of portable police spotlight, Murphy started knocking, despite the old adage.
And
which didn't please Braxton, who uncoupled from Bird. The pair briefly paused in their activities. After Murphy identified himself, Braxton responded, "Fuck you, who is it?" Despite Murphy's order to open the van's door, Braxton continued to curse out the officer, refused to exit during the brief standoff. Braxton took time to smoke a post-coital cigarette. After dressing, Bird eventually opened the door, and she was busted along with Braxton for misdemeanor disorderly conduct. Police reported that both arrestees were intoxicated, The amorous pair might have gone undetected, of course, had their van not been parked with its engine running under a light pole. As soon as you see they're fucking, though, and clearly it's not rape because it's a 69 for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Just leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah, give them like 10 minutes and, you know.
Or however
Come
long
back,
it takes.
whatever.
But why bother them?
Yeah.
I mean, they're fucking in a van. Well, I don't know.
They're not hurting anybody. I mean, I can understand wanting to check in case it was like a pedophile or something crazy was going on, but it's like,
it's adults. They're dirty over 30. It's obvious, you know? Trust me, I'm 38. You know someone in their 30s when you fucking look at them. You know they ain't under 18 anyway, I should say. This next one's called...
I ain't going to look 30 when I hit 30.
Why, Lord? Why? This is a long one, but Jesus Christ, is it? Oh boy. A Florida man is under investigation for repeatedly returning boxes of used enemas to a CVS pharmacy where workers reshelved the items, cops reported. The unidentified suspect, who has not yet been charged in a product tampering probe,
Hey. What this town needs is an enema.
Is a second-hand enema. Ugh. Oh, he was arrested earlier this month on an unrelated outstanding warrant. The repulsive probe began earlier this month. Oh, in more ways than one.
Yeah.
When a worker told Jacksonville Sheriff's Office deputies that the suspect, on 4 occasions, had purchased ready-to-use saline enemas only to later return the items. A little fishy.
A little. Something doesn't smell right
here. That's a shitty thing to do. The CVS employee, Dustin McDonald, said that when returning enemas on June 5th, the suspect told him that it was for the suspect's mother and she no longer needed them. I guess she has given up her ass for Lent. After accepting the enemas for return, the 22-year-old McDonald decided to check the box of enemas to be sure that they were not tampered with.
Good thing he did that after he did the return. Genius.
When he opened the box, McDonald observed that all the enemas were used. He observed that. Additionally, the pharmacy worker determined that the unknown white male re-glued the bottom of the box so that it appeared that it had not been opened. So this might be like a fetish thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I got nothing so far.
Well, I know people thinking they're cleaning their ass, but a little piece of my ass will be in their ass. I can now get off.
Oh, that's just awful.
McDonald then checked 3 other 6-pack enema boxes. 3 other 6-pack. That's 18. On the store shelves and found that all the enemas in each of the 3 boxes were previously used.
Oh.
That's a lot of work. Think of that's it. Okay,
That's
grab
true.
one, open it, shove it in your ass. Push it back into the enema, close it up, I guess wipe off the outside, put it back in the box. Take out another enema 18 times? This guy's not
this has
just
been
doing it
going
because
on
he's
for a while.
cheap.
He's a serial enema replacist.
Remarkably, however, despite discovering on June 5th that 4 boxes of enemas had been return used, CVS personnel did not immediately contact law enforcement about the tampering. It was not until June 12th when the male suspect sought to return a 5th box of enemas to the San Jose Boulevard store that pharmacy employees finally notified the police. On that date, McDonald had told the man that he could no longer take returns for this item. McDonald also contacted his loss prevention manager and advised all the area CVS stores about the incident. A subsequent review of credit card records and store surveillance tapes, which caught the man driving a blue pickup truck, led sheriff's deputies to identify the suspect, who has not been named. Investigators determined that the man began purchasing enemas in March and returning them in April. So he'd been doing it since...
Quite some time.
That's...
Well, you know, he's got the cleanest ass anywhere.
According to a CVS spokesperson, this part's incredible. This part's
the crazy part, right?
The company believes that over a 2-month period, as many as 12 enema packages were possibly used by a customer who then returned them with resealed packaging to make the products appear unopened. The pharmacy added that it was proactively contacting 21 customers who bought any of the potentially impacted enema products. during the period of time that the suspect was carrying out the tampering scheme. As part of the criminal probe, cops noted samples were taken of the fluid in the enema bottle and have been sent to the Florida Department of Health for testing. Fecal matter was located on the returned enema bottles.
Well, yeah.
The fecal matter has been collected as evidence and submitted to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for testing. Yuck. That's
yeah, it's a shit job there.
That's
if I ever
a
heard
shitty
one.
story. Ugh. So I guess if you're going to buy some enemas, open them up in the store and examine. Spray them on the floor.
Yeah,
check for fecal material
make sure
before you
it's
purchase
all
them.
kosher.
Our last story: golden showers may bring May flowers.
Well, alrighty then.
5 hikers on holiday from Miami.
So what do March enemas bring?
Yes. Got lost overnight on May 3rd, high in the Adirondack Mountains in Essex County, New York, and endured a night of rain with temperatures in the 40s before they were rescued.
Sounds terrible.
One or more of the hikers, number unclear in the news report, got to test one theory of body warming, but learned that its benefit was illusory. That is, warming up a cold body by urinating on it provides only momentary, if any, relief. That's from the Times Union in Albany.
That's like you're supposed to pee on yourself in a wetsuit.
Look, what you do is you take some enemas, you use them, and then your body heat's trapped inside. They're like little hot water bottles filled with poopy water. Because poopy water makes you laugh from age 3 all the way up, probably to 93.
Yeah, probably. Poopy water. It's funny.
Like what's another one?
Boobies.
Boobies.
But no, just the word boobies
Oh yeah.
makes
No.
yeah, just boobies.
Another word you cannot possibly say or hear without smiling. Right now, you can't see this, but right now, Pete and I are going to try to get our faces serious.
I think I already know the word that you're going to say.
Okay, face, because Ed Allen pioneered this study. Okay, okay, we're getting serious now. We have serious.
This isn't going to work.
We have our serious faces on. We're absolutely not thinking of the word panties. See? Damn it.
Panties.
I want to. It's just one of those
It's
words.
such a stupid word.
Yeah. But it's filled with so much
So
fun.
much goodness. Panties. Go on, say it to yourself, because I know you are. You're thinking, how's that a...
And it's not just guys
Yeah.
either. Ladies, if you're listening to this, we challenge you now. Get your straight face on. Ready? Here it comes. Panties. See? Well, we're adults here.
it's just
You know.
it's just
But
ridiculous.
panties is one of those words. What's another one? It worked for my 3-year-old. Daddy Dance made her laugh because of her dance. She has a dance recital thing she's doing and shit.
Right.
Another thing I missed because of the storm.
Good job, Storm.
Yeah, I got daddy guilt for that. I felt fucking like shit. But, because I was going to go Saturday, and there was no
Right.
power, and then I'm back to work Monday, and it's overtime, so there weren't enough people to cover me. But they have something called a daddy dance. But another thing is, because I just started throwing nonsense words together, was duty daddy and duty dance. Which I imagine is a distant cousin of the pee-pee dance.
Yeah, you don't move the same way because too much bouncing is...
Yeah, I was doing the
Dramatic.
duty dance on the night of the storm.
Poo-poo shuffle is what that was.
Oh, doing the brown star shuffle. Just, which is different from the asshole shuffle.
Right.
But,
Yeah, that's two different things. The poo-poo shuffle.
Yes. So, now that we've ended our podcast on a mature note. Duty. Pee-pee panties.
Oh, shit. It's like when you're really tired. 'Cause I used to do this to my friends and stuff back in the day. Like, when you're younger, if you're, like everybody's crashing at somebody's house for like
Yeah,
the night
sleepover or whatever.
You're always up to like retarded late in the morning, and it gets to that point where you're so sleep deprived because at that time you weren't technically a second shifter yet that anything you heard, regardless of how mundane it was fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
So we discovered this in our early teenage years that we could make each other laugh with just the dumbest shit. And the one that sort of won was peanut butter sandwich.
Peanut butter sandwich?
Yeah, because it was just like so ridiculous that would like a peanut butter sandwich would be funny at all. But
Well, evidently.
when you haven't slept, and at this point, like if I hadn't slept for like 2 or 3 days, I would probably laugh at a peanut butter sandwich.
How about a peanut butter and panty sandwich? You don't have to be tired for that shit to be funny.
No,
well, that sounds like you need to see your gynecologist right away.
Or
get an enema or
get a
something.
dog.
Or something.
Something.
But, or eat a dog. Did you say or eat a dog?
No, I said get a dog.
Oh, get
the dog. Peanut butter on the, that
Oh,
whole thing.
yeah. Not that I've done that.
That's the only reason I could think of having peanut butter in one's panties.
Yeah.
All right, it's not the only reason I could think of, but it's
there's
a reason.
We could think of a lot of reasons. That's because we're a little weird. But, yeah.
Yeah. It's sandwich time. Hey.
PB&J.
Oh, ugh.
Pussy, butter, and jam sandwich. It must be jam because jelly don't shake like that. So, yeah. That's what we're looking for to end the show. A sort of...
kind of feel. Yeah.
Which...
well done.
Brings us to...
Good job, spider friend.
You've been listening to That's Life, a Baby Boy production, episode number 28. A sweltering explosion, storm of comedy. And thank you so much for checking it out if you have power. You can listen to or download this and any of the other episodes at ThatsLifePodcast.com. That's right, you can check it all out for free at Pete.
ThatsLifePodcast.com.
Be sure to subscribe, and
also, while you're there, subscribe
on the site for instant notification. Via email or peanut butter penny sandwiches, whenever new episodes.
Whichever travels better.
Yes, whichever floats your boat, whenever they're posted. If you've enjoyed what you've just heard, and
we know you have.
We know you have. We can see the peanut butter in your panties. Be sure to tell a friend and help us to spread the laughter as far as we can. Spread it like peanut butter across the world. So from
like peanut butter across the panties of the internet.
that was a haiku. So from all of us here at That's Life, this has been...
It's been Pete.
And Carl wishing you an adieu, and a storm-ravaged adieu.
The storm ravaged by peanut butter panties. Holy shit. It's one big ass condom.